What makes the face look surprised? To me, the look of surprise is all about the eyes. When we are surprised, our eyes become more open. More open eyes means the eyeballs are more exposed. So we can see more of the white part, or sclera, and the roundness of the eyeballs coming through, like golf balls. Another thing to note is the eyelids. Eyelids are not flat borders for the eyes. They actually have thickness. Normally, when our eyes are relaxed, this thickness is not super visible, especially because our eyelashes cover them. But when our eyes are wide open in shock, the upper lids retract more into the skull, and the eyebrows lift the upper lids, exposing this thickness. So, the exposed eyeball and the prominent thickness of the lids are the key ingredients of a surprised face. Now that we have the key ingredients, how do we use them? Here's my detective character who is on a mission to find a missing person. Days of meticulous sleuthing and fights with unsavory goons have led him to a spooky, abandoned building, where he's now looking for clues in the dark. Then suddenly, he hears a strange dripping sound. With his heart violently beating against his chest and the saltiness of his sweat filling up the air, he nervously follows the sound and enters a suspicious crevice. And then, oh my god, his heart skips a beat. For what he sees is the missing person he's been searching for, lifelessly dangling from the ceiling and dripping blood. Upon seeing the corpse, what would the detective have felt? I would think spine-chilling shock and terror. So I need to convey these emotions on his face. From the study, I know that the eyes should be wide open, meaning we'd see more of the sclera and the thickness of the eyelids. Remember that the eyelids are like thick tapes wrapping over golf balls, so they should bend along with the round contour of the eyeballs. These two ingredients are already creating a look of shock. Another thing to note is the shape of the eyes. I've talked about the structure and forces of the eyes before, and we see the same concepts popping up here. In a nutshell, a forceful shape consists of a curved side and a straight side. The straight side can actually have some curve too. It just needs to be less curved than the curved side. In this case, his raised eyebrows are pulling up the upper eyelids, which creates forceful shapes bending upwards. This gives a clear sense of direction to the eyes, and therefore leads to a clear expression and appealing design. Now you might be wondering at this point, don't eyes always have the same shape? And the answer is no. Just for fun, let's take a quick look at the eyes in the other panels. In this scene, our detective character is looking down into the box. I've mentioned in the past that the iris, or the colored part of our eyes, is actually raised and presses on the eyelids as it moves around. Here, since he's looking down at the box, his irises are pointing down and towards the box, right up against his lower lids. This creates a forceful shape bent downwards. Even though this is a rough drawing, the simple shape based on force is clearly indicating the roundness of his eyes and the direction of his gaze, basically combining force and form into one. This is the power of shape. In this scene, he's looking towards the screen right. So now, the forceful shape is also bending towards the screen right. In this one, the hat is unfortunately covering his eyes, but without the hat, his eye shape would be pointing up and left, exactly according to his gaze. Note that I made the bottom lid protrude where it meets the eyeball and sink in where it doesn't, because the eyeball is pushing against the bottom lid too. But the main idea is still rooted in the simple force shape, where the main force is where the iris is, according to his gaze. It's just swerving in and out of the straight side. So we can see that eyes don't stay static. Its shape changes according to the gaze. By the way, if you want to learn more about how force, form, shape, and anatomy work in faces, check out this video. So we got the shock part down, but I don't want the same exact expression as a study. The model in the study looks more casually or playfully shocked, as if she's reacting to a juicy gossip. I don't sense any urgency or fear. Our detective character, however, is marinating in terror. To convey his fear, I raised the head of the brows and lowered the tail of the brows. This is different from the eyebrows in the study, which were relaxed at the head and raised at the tail. So I didn't just copy the same expression in the study. I distilled the key ingredients from the study using force and combined them with modifications to create an expression that's suitable for the character's story and personality. No two shocked faces are the same because human emotions run on a spectrum. Endless possibilities for expressions and angles can be daunting if you try to memorize each case separately without context. But force makes understanding and inventing expressions so much easier, faster, and more fun. If you want to learn more about force, you can take online lessons at drawingforce.com, as well as one-on-one mentorships with Mike, myself, or other trained force instructors. See you in the next video!